Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be making a tips and tricks video for Thor and Marvel Rivals competitive. I did one a few days ago for Doctor Strange, and a few people seemed to like it and that it really helped them. So I figured today I would do Thor since I've also played a decent amount of him in competitive. Now the first and very simple tip I have for you, it's an obvious one for a lot of people, but some people just don't think of it, is to use your left trigger for movement when you are starting the match. The sooner you can get to the point, or the payload, or defense, whatever you need to, the sooner you can have the upper hand. So, the first tip I have for you is where to aim when you are attacking as Thor. And that might sound silly because, he's a melee character, but as I'm sure a decent amount of you have seen before, since this is a third-person shooter and you're looking over your character's right shoulder, aiming to the right of enemies, well, to an enemy's left, to your right, will make you land your shots a lot more often than when you're aiming to the left. So I will show you, for example, when I aim to the left of this Luna Snow with a charged left trigger shot, I just fly right by her. However, if I am standing in the same spot and aim a little more to the right of her, I can swing and I will still hit her. That is because of how the camera works with this third-person shooter. You are not placed directly behind your character, you are placed a little bit to the right of your character. However, that is still forwards for your character, that is still straight on. So that's how that works for every character in this game, really. This is a tip for everybody, just to aim to the right. But yeah, that works for your left trigger, that works for your right trigger, and your X button as well. Just like that. So my next tip for you is to be using your cooldowns all the time, and make sure you are constantly utilizing your Thor Force at all times. So your Thor Force are your 3 hammers at the bottom of your screen. And the way they work is they consume 1 for your left trigger, 1 for your right bumper, and then all 3 for your X ability. They recharge passively, or you can recharge them by hitting an enemy with your hammer instantly. It will recharge 1 of your meters. So this is great for you to use your combos all the time. The main thing that's holding you back from just spamming your cooldowns should be your cooldown timer. You should not have to worry about your Thor Force running out if you are playing Thor correctly. So yeah, use your left trigger to stun an enemy, to get them off of your healers, to displace an enemy, to push the enemy into your team and kill them easier, or just use them to get some extra damage and get some shield back, because you do get shield for using that ability. Same as your right bumper. Consuming any Thor Force at all gives you shield. Use your left bumper to slow down enemies, or when you're in a large team fight, it's just good to have this AoE area of effect that will constantly wear down on the enemies. And then use your right bumper all the time. Use it for when enemies are getting away. I would practice how to aim that, because it's a very slow moving projectile, so it can be pretty hard to hit, especially those smaller DPS or healer enemies. But as soon as you get used to it, it's not too bad, and it's very helpful for getting, say, like a Star-Lord that's running away, a Spider-Man swinging away, what we need to do. And then your X ability, sorry, I was looking at what my cat was doing. Your X ability, your Awakening Rune, use that for when you need to output damage, when you're in a big team fight, when you have both enemy tanks on you, or when you are running low on health, because it gives you quite a bit of shield. It makes you more menacing because of how much damage output you can do. I normally use that to target the enemy healers, because you can usually kill an enemy healer in roughly 3 or 4 hits of just that. So my next tip for you is, like I said in the last one, learning how to aim Thor's right bumper and how to hit enemies at any distance. I was just coming to an area like this in your firing range and practicing how these lineups work and how you can hit enemies with your hammer, because it's a very good ability, but it has a very small window and can be pretty tough to land. But it's great for when that, that Star-Lord is running away at 1 HP, that Moon Knight just kited away, and no one's hitting him, so you have to. Alright, my next tip for you is when and where to use Thor's ultimate. Now, I would stay away from using it on enemy tanks. I see other Thors do that a lot when they're just in a fist fight, get their ult, just immediately spam it. And this is why the damage done against tanks with your ultimate is pretty ridiculous. It's very low. You can do about half of Hulk's health. That will be healed back right away, assuming their healers are alive and paying attention. Now, what you should do with your ultimate is focus enemy healers or low health DPS, because his ultimate does do enough damage to kill them, and it can be very easy to not notice the Thor ultimate when there's so many other things going on. There's plenty of times that I've jumped on the healers before they even noticed me and just done my ultimate, because all it does is put that circle underneath you, and some people just don't even pay attention to that. He just sits there and tickles you to death, and you're wondering where your health is going, and then he does that big impact and finishes you off. However, do not expect your ultimate to work like that all the time, because your ultimate, unfortunately, is one of the biggest ones for drawing out the enemy healer ults. It gets countered all the time, and you will not always get value out of it. One thing I will tell you with Thor's ultimate is that it's very environmentally based. I'll show you what I mean. If you are fighting a team at an area like this, for example, maybe you're holding them from getting to the domination point, or it's just a small doorway for a payload, your ultimate isn't going to do shit here, because the way you can fly up and down with your ultimate, but it just shoots you so far up in the air immediately that you have little to no time to get through a doorway like that. If the enemy team sees you ulting in this situation, they're just going to run back through the doorway, and you can't do anything. While you can do this descend, it doesn't help you that much, because you aren't in the air long enough to make enough of a difference to, do anything with. Another tip to steer clear of is aiming your attack straight at enemies. So, like, this kind of goes with the right bumper hammer ability, and it goes with the X ability, because when you're aiming straight at enemies, your chance to hit them decreases a lot because of how Thor's cooldowns work. They all are projectiles. Well, the right bumper, his left trigger, and his X are all projectiles that travel slowly. So you have to aim your shots in the direction that your enemies are moving. This can take practice, it takes time to learn how enemies move. Something you should pay attention to every match is, how is this character moving? Like, who is giving you trouble in that match? Try to figure out how they're moving, how you can use that against them. But like I said, just aim every shot arcing. Usually aim to the right of enemies because of how the third person works, like I said before. My 8th and final tip for you is knowing your team comp. So, when you're playing Thor, you need healers. Obviously, your healers have a lot of work cut out for them when you are playing Thor and you're playing him correctly, because you should be very aggressive, you should be moving fast, you should be in their face, and doing high damage outputs and gaining back a lot of shield and a lot of health. So, you want healers like, you want healers like Cloak and Dagger, Mantis, Invisible Woman. You want people who can do a lot of healing output and keep up with you. You do not want healers like Loki. Adam Warlock is a so-so. Rocket is a so-so. You just want people who can do a lot of healing output. And if you don't have that, you have to play more passively. You also want to know what your DPS are and how they are playing. If your DPS are playing loud, aggressive, and fast, maybe let them deal with the healers and you keep the tanks busy, you keep the tanks off your healers. Or if they are playing laid back and scared, maybe push in on enemy healers, push in on enemy DPS. I know you are playing Thor, but there's plenty of times that I have had an Iron Man on the enemy team that my DPS are doing nothing about. They're not playing his scan, and even though you're playing Thor, you can still help with the Iron Man. You have to kind of learn how to swing your hammer correctly with the left trigger and how to aim your right bumper. When there are flying enemies, you can reach them and you can deal damage to them. Uh, it's not expected most of the time. However, if you know how to do it, it is very helpful and it's a good thing to do. Because, like I said, Iron Man can really fuck up your whole fucking team. And if your DPS, your Punisher, doesn't know how to land a shot as hit scan, well, you gotta take matters in your own hands, you know? So this was a great example of team fight. This was actually me playing on my partner's account last night because we were just downstairs and it was easier to play on theirs. However, I was playing Thor, and excuse me, sorry. This is a good example of when and where to push in, how to use your ultimate, and who to target. So I see the DPS grouped up back here, and the Punisher does his ultimate, so I decide to ult right on top of him so he can get as little value out of that as possible. The Mantis is overextended, even though she is in a cloak ultimate, so I look at her, assume that I can kill her with my X ability and get some health back with my X ability because my health is dropping. I also kill the cloak with just the last little bit of my X ability there, and it is just Thor, so this team fight is very easily winnable as long as the DPS on my team help out. But, you know, we won that thanks to that Punisher getting shut down and their healers just dying and being, you know, not being any assistance whatsoever. And here's another example. When a healer overextends, don't be afraid to punish, because she should not have been all the way up there. As a Mantis, she should not be up there all by herself. So, you know, I took the opportunity to get a free pick there and, you know, hinder their next team fight because now they have one healer, or they have to wait for their Mantis to come back. So this is a really good example of knowing where to use your ultimate. So Cloak just used her left trigger ability, so I know that's on cooldown at the moment, which is usually one of the big saviors for getting out of a Thor ultimate. Now I see how grouped up the enemy team is playing in this small corridor, and I see how high the ceiling is, and I know that there's no easy way out of that, so I sneak up behind them, place my all right on top of them, get a 4-man ult just like that. Yeah, just knowing when and where to use your ultimate, looking at your environment, knowing what the enemy cooldowns are will help you a lot. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys right now. I really hope you enjoy the video, and I hope it helps you if you are trying to learn how to play Thor or want to play Thor better. If you did enjoy it, if it helped you at all, if you have any questions, criticisms, concerns, you know, feel free to leave me a comment. If you enjoyed, feel free to leave a like, and please consider subscribing. I greatly appreciate it. If not, I just appreciate you watching this far into the video. And yeah, I hope you're enjoying Marvel Rivals as much as I am. I hope you're enjoying the new season. Let me know what you think about it, and have a great day. Thank you.